Ever feel like life keeps throwing you the same problems over and over again? Like no matter how hard you try to change, the same issues, patterns, or types of people keep showing up. You're not alone, and there might be a reason behind it that's more surprising than you'd expect. Karma. But not the version you've heard from pop culture. This isn't about cosmic revenge or spiritual punishment. It's much simpler and more personal. Karma, in its essence, is just a feedback system. Think of it like your phone's screen, reacting to your touch. Every thought, action, and intention sends out a signal. That signal eventually loops back, sometimes in ways we don't immediately recognize. Maybe you snapped at someone a few days ago and later noticed your own mood spiraling. Or perhaps you helped a friend when it was inconvenient, and somehow your own tough situation smoothed itself out. That's karma in action. What makes it really interesting, and a bit unsettling, is that this loop doesn't only apply to big moral choices. It tracks the small stuff too. Your thoughts, your habits, even family patterns. That tendency your dad had to hold on to resentment, it might echo in your own relationships. This idea, called generational karma, suggests that emotional energy can be passed down, shaping your life without you even realizing it. But here's the key idea. Karma isn't fate, it's a pattern. And patterns can be changed. Karma isn't a punishment, it's a mirror. It shows you what you've been putting out into the world, so you can decide what you want to change. So how do you break the loop? Forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. Holding on to anger or guilt keeps you tied to the same story. Letting go doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're ready to stop carrying it. Detach from outcomes. Try focusing on effort, not results. Help someone without expecting thanks. Do your best at work without obsessing over promotion. That mindset frees you. Karma thrives on past regrets and future worries. Being aware of what you're doing now, instead of reacting out of habit, is how you change the cycle. And if you really want to step off the wheel altogether, there's something beyond karma. Grace. Grace means you're not defined by your past. You're allowed to grow. You don't have to keep earning your peace. It's already available when you stop identifying with every mistake or reaction. Karma doesn't lock you into a fixed story. It just reflects what you bring to the table. The moment you act with awareness, with intention, you start rewriting the script. But karma doesn't stop at individual choices. It runs deeper than most people realize. One of the most overlooked aspects of karma is that it's not just about what you do. It's also about what you inherit. This is where the concept of generational karma comes in. Have you ever noticed how certain problems, like addiction, money struggles, or relationship patterns, seem to repeat in families? That's not just bad luck or DNA. It's often unresolved emotional energy passed from one generation to the next. If a parent never healed from trauma, their way of coping can become the template their children unconsciously follow. You can be the one to break the cycle. Just recognizing that you're living out someone else's unfinished story is the first step. You don't need to carry the emotional baggage of people who came before you. By choosing awareness and healing, through therapy, journaling, or simply asking, why do I keep reacting this way? You begin to rewrite the patterns for future generations too. Sometimes a kind act doesn't reward you right away. Other times, something painful happens that seems unfair. Until later you see how it connects to a deeper lesson or shift. Karma works like compound interest. Small actions, positive or negative, build up over time. You may not notice it day to day, but months or years later, it shapes what shows up in your life. Most importantly, karma isn't keeping score to punish you. It's keeping track so you can grow. It's the universe's way of handing you the same question until you finally learn the answer. And that's good news, because once you see how karma works, you can stop being a passive participant and start responding with intention. At first glance, karma feels like a trap. A never-ending loop of cause and effect. Every mistake seems to come back around. Every wrong turn feels like another thread pulling you tighter into the web of your past. It's easy to feel stuck, like life is just happening to you. Karma isn't a punishment. It's a pattern. And more importantly, it's a pattern you can interrupt. Most people believe they're trapped by fate. But often, what traps us isn't fate. It's habit. We keep making the same decisions, reacting the same way, assuming we have no other choice. That's the illusion. The truth is, karma reflects how conscious you are. If you live on autopilot, karma feels rigid and unchanging. If you live with awareness, karma becomes flexible. It starts working for you, not against you. Karma is feedback. It's like GPS, recalculating when you take a wrong turn. It doesn't yell at you. It just redirects you, over and over, until you either follow a better path or keep looping through the same detour. Say you find yourself stuck in toxic relationships. It might feel like bad luck, but the real insight comes when you stop and ask, what patterns am I repeating? What lesson keeps coming back, louder each time? Those questions are breakpoints in the karmic cycle. They're how you go from reacting to responding, from living out your past to rewriting your future. Karma is not just about the negative. Compassion, honesty, kindness, these leave powerful imprints too. But because negative events are more emotionally intense, we tend to notice them more. That doesn't mean the positive is absent. It's just quieter, slower, but equally real. You are not your past. You are your present awareness. The more awake you are to your own behavior, emotions, and intentions, the less karma controls you, and the more you begin to shape your life with clarity and purpose. So how do you actually break free from the karmic loop? Not by avoiding karma, but by learning how to interact with it differently. Karma thrives on unconscious patterns, reactions, habits, emotional reflexes. But once you bring awareness to those patterns, you interrupt their momentum. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Most people think forgiveness is about moving on, but it's actually about resetting your internal environment. When you forgive someone, or yourself, you stop recycling the energy that created the conflict in the first place. You're no longer replaying the old story. Unforgiveness keeps you energetically tied to the past. If you keep thinking about what someone owes you emotionally, you're still engaging with that karmic contract. Letting go isn't approval, it's closure. Think of forgiveness as closing a tab on a browser that's draining your mental battery. It's not about forgetting. It's about no longer feeding the loop. Detachment isn't indifference. It's emotional independence. It means doing the right thing without being tied to how it turns out. Karma strengthens when we act from expectation. If you give kindness expecting a return, you've created a subtle transaction, and karma tracks that. But when you act with sincerity and let go of needing results, you stop creating new loops. Give something, a compliment, your time, your help, without looking back. Watch how your sense of freedom expands. Living in the present sounds obvious, but it's actually rare. Most people live in loops, past regrets or future worries. Mindfulness disrupts this. Karma operates in momentum. Mindfulness slows it down. The more present you are, the more choice you have in each moment. That's where change happens. Set a simple reminder on your phone 3 times a day. When it goes off, stop and ask, what am I thinking? How am I feeling? Is this helping me grow? These steps don't erase the past, but they rewire how you move through the present. And that's where karma lives. Each time you respond instead of react, you're not just healing your story, you're shaping a better one. What if you could move beyond karma? Not just manage it, but rise above it completely. That's where the concept of grace enters the picture. While karma operates on cause and effect, grace introduces something radically different: unearned freedom. It's not a loophole. It's a shift in perspective. Grace begins when you stop trying to balance the scales and start changing who you are at your core. Let's break this down with clear steps. Self-compassion is the gateway to grace. Most people carry guilt or shame, like emotional debt. They believe they need to pay for their past, but self-punishment just creates more karmic residue. You grow faster through kindness to yourself than through criticism. Forgiving yourself isn't about pretending you didn't mess up. It's about choosing to grow from it instead of being defined by it. The next time a regret surfaces, say, yes, that happened, and now I choose to become someone wiser because of it. Grace doesn't erase the past, but it releases you from dragging it into your future. Spontaneity breaks the script. Karma loves repetition. It thrives when you keep acting out of fear, obligation, or habit. But when you act spontaneously, from the heart, without calculation, you break that pattern. Spontaneity isn't impulsiveness. It's inner alignment in real time. It's when your actions come from who you really are, not who you've been told to be. When facing a decision, pause and ask, what would I do if I weren't afraid of getting it wrong? Then act from that place. That's freedom. Become the observer. This is one of the most powerful shifts. Most people live inside their stories. But when you learn to watch your thoughts, emotions, and choices like a movie, something changes. You are not your karma. You're the one watching it unfold. The more you observe without judgment, the less power your old patterns have. You begin to create space between stimulus and response, and that space is where transformation lives. Spend 5 minutes each night replaying your day in your mind. Watch it like a scene in a film. No blame, no shame. Just awareness. The more you do this, the more conscious your future actions become. Karma responds to identity. As you evolve, not just in behavior, but in how you see yourself, karma adjusts. When you act from a higher level of awareness, grace becomes available. You're no longer stuck trying to undo the past. You're building something beyond it. And that's the point. Karma is a teacher, but grace is the graduation. Karma might seem vast and complex, but freedom from it is surprisingly simple. It doesn't require perfection. It doesn't ask you to be spiritual or flawless. It just asks you to wake up to your patterns, to your choices, and to who you are becoming. Karma is shaped more by intention than outcome. A lot of people obsess over results. Did I do the right thing? But karma responds more to why you did it. Your motivation matters more than your success. Trying and failing with good intention creates far better karma than succeeding with selfish intent. So stop fearing mistakes. Fear acting without self-awareness instead. Awareness is the first step to change. People often ask, what should I do differently? But it's not about doing more. It's about noticing more. When you change the way you see your life begins to change on its own. The right choices come naturally once you stop living unconsciously. Healing your karma helps others, whether they know it or not. Breaking a family pattern, learning emotional balance, choosing forgiveness, these choices ripple outward. People who experience you in a calmer, more aware state are affected by it, even if they can't explain why. Your liberation becomes permission for others to grow. You're not just doing this for yourself. You're interrupting cycles that may have gone unbroken for generations. You're not stuck in a script. Karma isn't fate. It's just feedback. And feedback can be changed the moment you start responding with clarity and intention, instead of reacting from habit. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to stop repeating what doesn't serve you. And you don't have to wait for some future version of yourself to get it right. You can begin now with one conscious choice. The path forward is simple. Forgive where you've been. Let go of outcomes. Show up with awareness. Act from truth, not fear. And most importantly, remember, you are more than your karma. You are the one rewriting it. Let's bring it all together. We've explored what karma is, how it works, how to interrupt it, and even how to transcend it. But here's what matters most. None of this is about theory. It's about practice. Karma isn't just something that happens over lifetimes or in the background of spiritual beliefs. It shows up every day in how you treat people, how you speak to yourself, how you react under pressure, and how you handle success and failure. Every ordinary moment is a karmic choice. You shape your future not in big dramatic events, but in small moments of awareness. When you catch yourself about to repeat a pattern and choose differently, that's karmic transformation. So what does liberation from karma actually look like in real life? It looks like responding to criticism with curiosity instead of anger. It looks like choosing to walk away from drama instead of feeding it. It looks like forgiving yourself for something you've carried too long. It looks like doing what's right, even when it's inconvenient. It looks like giving without strings and letting go without resentment. And most of all, it looks like taking responsibility without taking on guilt. Karma responds to identity shifts more than behavioral tweaks. You don't need to manage karma like a task list. When you become someone new, more conscious, more intentional, your karma adjusts automatically. The loops stop repeating because the version of you that created them no longer exists. So ask yourself, who am I becoming? Not what have I done, not what happened to me, but who am I choosing to be now? That question is the start of real freedom. You don't have to wait. You don't need permission. And you're not too late. You're already on the path. And from this moment forward, every choice you make is a thread. The difference is, now you're the one weaving.